Hello, friends. Let's get our lives back on the rack, shall we? And if you go against this deck,
Your suffering will be legendary, even in hell.
ho ho ho. So, let's get right into it. We were going to make a Halloween deck, something fun, right? But in the current metagame, we're like, got the Merc Tides, got all that Rakdos scam going on. So what can we do with that? Do you remember the deck Sometimes Dead is Better? Well, here we got 8 rack. And this pauper staple here, Augur of Skulls. Let's get right into this deck here. Here's our little golden pig here for 1 and a black. We can regenerate Augur of Skulls. It's a 1/1. Sacrifice Augur of Skulls. Target player discards 2 cards. Play this ability only during your upkeep. So, we have 4 Augur of Skulls. So we can sacrifice this. We can regenerate it. We can bring it back. And on our upkeep, we can scam this thing back. And how wonderful is that? We can get that thing back from our graveyard and then do it again. So that's 4 cards in 1 turn. So that is going to empty our opponent's hand. That's just brutal, right? So look at that. Within each empty skull, it seeks ways to preserve its own failing undeath. Very interesting. So we have 4 of those. Yep, and this has been fully tested. And boy, I tell you, I feel bad playing this against people. Of course, we got the Bowmasters. Of course we do. I know, Jeffrey, I know. The Bowmasters, and your suffering will be legendary even in hell. Alright, so Orcish Bowmasters, does it need an introduction? I don't think so. Everybody knows what it does by now. Running 4 of those. Now, here we go. You can run 2 Dautai Voidwalkers if you want. I like running 4 of them because I like to get them in my hand. I kind of like to use this as a kind of like a Ragavanish thing here in the mono black. So Dautai Voidwalker kind of plays the role of like a Ragavanish thing here. So say like my opponent's discarding all the time. Plus we can scam this back, remember? We can get this right back. So we have plenty of ways to get stuff back from our graveyard. If a card we put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, instead exile it. We can tap and sacrifice the Voidwalker. Choose an exiled card an opponent owns with a void counter. You can play it this turn without its mana cost. So that's really good for us. We're playing 4 of those. Now this is a guy that 2 of him in the deck is just perfect. We have Turak, the Dinosaur Hunter. I'm just kidding. It's Turak Dreadcanter. So we have 2 of him. He's 1 and a black. He's got a kicker cost of 2 black. Protection from white. Whenever an opponent discards a card, put a +1/+1 counter on Turak Dreadcanter. When Turak enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, target opponent discards 2 cards at random. Very nice. Of course, we're running 1, 2, 3, 4 griefs. Look at that. Terrible, right? Isn't that ugly? Nobody wants to see that. Who wants to see this? Who wants to see that? I do. I like that. Very nice. So we know how this works. We evoke this, we sacrifice this, we bring it back. And I mean, look at it. Just wonderful, right? So nice, so fun. So is this a Halloween deck? So there I was looking for like horror themed things, and I thought, why make a horror deck? Let's just make a black deck that's horribly horrible to play against. And this is it. And honestly, I think this is worse to play against than Rakdos Scam. So here, that will round out our creatures. I believe we have 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 creatures. All right. We have 2 planeswalkers. We have Lily of the Veil there. We got that. Look at that there. Got that nice foil promo. And we have this one that's slightly undyed there, which kind of stinks, but oh well. It's all nice. I mean, it's packed fresh, but for some reason, it's just got that little problem going on up there. Running 2 of those, so +1. Each player discards a card, and -2, target player sacrifices a creature. So these 2 are really great for us. This would be wonderful. It's one of those things, probably not going to happen. So we're running 2 levels. Now let's get into the wacky racky, huh? So we got 1, 2 Shrieking Afflictions, all right? So 1 black at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep. If that player has 1 or fewer cards in hand, he or she loses 3 life. So we got 2 of those because This one's not dealing damage every time. They have to be down low, but then they're going to be losing 3 life. So those 2 on the board, very good. Now here's where we get interesting. We have 4 racks. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. The rack, if an opponent has fewer than 3 cards in hand during his or her upkeep, the rack does 1 damage to opponent for each card fewer than 3. So, very similar, and look at this nice version of that. Very cool. I like this one because that actually makes sense. Like, that looks like the medieval rack. Whereas the stuffy doll here, thing going on here, that's just, I don't know. That looks like one of those, like, baby pet gates from back in the day that you'd put, like over the kitchen. Like, this stuffy doll is like on a kitchen thing. Like, you don't want the kids getting out of the playroom. Like, let's put that thing. See that? See what I'm talking about? So, anyways, I digress, right? That should be the quote of the channel. I digress. 4 of those. Now we have Inquisition of Cozy. Inquisition of Cozy. Target player reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it with mana value 3 or less. That player discards that card. So we're running 2 of those. Oop. Oh. Thoughtseize. 1, 2, 3, 4 of this wonderful card in my favorite version, and also happens to be the most economically priced version. Target player reveals his or her hand. Choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card. You lose 2 life. So did anybody catch me goldfishing the mono red Stompy? I got land blocked when I made a video of me going against my nephew, and he whooped my pants off. But then, when I was doing the goldfishing video, I got so flooded with land I couldn't even goldfish. Pretty comical, nonetheless. So here's a great card. I don't know why this card's not more expensive, to be honest. So, choose target card in a graveyard other than a basic land card. Search its owner's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the same name as that card and exile them. Then that player shuffles his or her library. Absolutely wonderful for getting rid of problematic staples in Modern. Love it, love it, love it. And you can pay life. So we love that Phyrexian cost. Running 2 of those. We have Fatal Push. There's 4 of these in the deck. 2 in the main deck at the moment. Destroy target creature if it has converted mana cost 2 or less. One of the best removals. Then Revolt. Destroy that creature if it has converted mana cost 4 or less instead of a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn. And it will be. These permanents will be leaving the battlefield. So we have Malakir Rebirth. These are our scammers. Our scammy dammy doobies. Got 2 of those. So these can couple as lands. Hey. Easy. Alright. Sorry. Focus, camera. So you choose target creature. You lose 2 life. Until end of turn, that creature gains. When this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. A wonderful instant right there. Because it doubles as a land. Aren't I always talking about that? Things that double as other things. However, the land does enter the battlefield tapoed. So that's not good for us. But it is still a land if we need it. As well as the Scammer Amarino. Running 2 of those. We have 1, 2, 3 Undying Malices with 1 in the sideboard. Until end of turn, target creature gains. When this creature dies, return it to the battlefield, tapped under its owner's control, the 1/1 counter on it. Very much a better card than, what is it? Undying Evil, which enters the battlefield untapped, but only if the it's the undying thing. So it if the creature has a +1/+1 counter, it doesn't work. So we're running 2 Feigned Deaths. Until end of turn, target creature gains. When this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Got 2 of those. So our Scammerinos are in full order. And here in our land base, now you could run Urza's Saga in here. Be a pretty dang good card, but I don't know. It's a little slow for what I want to do here. But Urza's Saga would not be bad in this deck at all. Because let's say you get it out like turn 1, turn 2. By the time you could seek out like a rack, an extra rack or something, it'd be a good time to get one. So there's our mana base. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 basics. And we have Silent Clearing there for a little card draw. And then 3 Castle Lochthwains, also for a little card draw. So, pretty basic stuff there. Yeah, Urza's Saga. Also, most of our creatures, besides the elemental, are 2-drops. So also, it's an expensive card, and I don't know if I'd run it in like an odd rack deck like this, just because it's expensive. But the Chalice of the Void could go in here pretty good. All right, let's take a peek at that sideboard, shall we? All right, so we have Knight's Whisper. 1 and a black, you draw 2 cards and you lose 2 life. We're running 1, 2 Knight's Whisper. We have Blood Chief's Thirst with a kicker of 2 and a black, but it's 1 black. Destroy target creature or planeswalker with converted mana cost 2 or less. If this spell was kicked, instead destroy target creature or planeswalker. So this will be nice. This would take care of a 2-drop planeswalker. Pretty much looking to take care of a 2-drop planeswalker in like green and red, maybe? 2 Damping Spears. If a land is tapped for 2 or more mana, it produces 1 colorless instead of any other type and amount. So this is going to mess up our Tron. Not our Tron, somebody else's Tron. So that's good for that. We have Pithing Needle here. As it enters the battlefield, choose a card name. Activated abilities of sources with the chosen name can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. We can think of all types of nice staples to name. We're running 2 Pithing Needles. And again, with these artifacts, you can see why Urza's Saga could be useful in here. Just like with Chalice of the Void, I thought, hey, maybe run like 1 or 2. But then the way this deck is put together, if you're not going to run like at least 3 or 4 Chalice of the Voids, nah. So we got Collective Brutality, 1 and a black. So escalate, discard a card. This is good for us. So choose 1 or more. Target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose an instant or sorcery card from it. That player discards that card. Sure. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. Target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Little bit of life gain there. Kind of does the job that in our mono black Stompy, the Aetherborn Vampire was doing, right? So, or was it Aether Vampire? Something. It's the Kaladesh one, I think. It's a 2-drop, 3/2 with lifelink and death touch. That one. So we have Fatal Push here. 1 black. Destroy target creature if it has converted mana cost 2 or less. It's got that Revolt. We talked about this card. Or we got the 2 of them here if we're going against something creature heavy. We don't want to mix those in, do we? There we go. So we have Feed the Swarm. Destroy target creature or enchantment an opponent controls. You lose life equal to that permanent's converted mana cost. 1 and a black. We're running 2 of these. We have another Malakir Rebirth in here. Choose target creature. You lose 2 life until end of turn. That creature gains when this creature dies. Return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. So we have these 2 extra in here if we really want to keep these scams going, which we do. But sometimes we don't need all those. So pretty simple. I mean, as I take this thing out into the wilds as the weeks pass, we'll make some more changes to it. You know how this channel works. Things are always changing, and when things change more than a little bit, I get back with you guys and let you know how they change. So we'll film some games of this. Sunday, we may have a 3-player Commander game going on here, maybe 4. And we're going to try to film that. I have a little bit of help, so hopefully that gets done. Anyways, here's the deck. Let me make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Perfect. All right. Anyways, that's the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And man, this is a degenerate one. I don't know. People are very surprised when I make degenerate things like this, but the world of Modern has gotten rather degenerate. And I mean, the combo decks are done. They're dead. So I think tomorrow we'll maybe do a video talking about new sets coming out, what I'm going to be buying, what I like, what I don't. We'll talk a little bit about Doctor Who, stuff like that. So join me tomorrow, friends, and we will have more fun. And I think, too, we're going to find a good way to do some gold fishing with this somehow. There's a way to do it. Do you remember how we used to do the Rat Priest and Goldfish? Well, that I always talk about that. You see how much I loved it? Well, anyways, here we are. We're at 15 minutes. That's a short one, right, for us because we like to yak. So thank you very much. You guys have a good one, and peace out.